Welcome to this video of Introduction to Python in Data Science. Okay. Before moving on to Python, I'll just briefly discuss about what is meant by programming. Okay. So what is programming? Everyone will be messed up, right? So if you are really from a non-mechanical or non-computer science background, or you are not from an IT department, you'll be messed up. Okay, programming is nothing related to a computer science, or it is bounded to a computer science department. If you are so, you are absolutely wrong. Okay, so I'll just start with a simple example here. Okay, so if you have a problem something in your you face in your daily life, so what will you do? So first you'll try to understand what the problem is all about, right? So if I have a problem, something like I want to make this task as automated, so what I'll be doing, I'll sit and just analyze the problem, right? Then I'll just think how I can come up to solve this problem, and then I'll try to execute. This is what I'll be doing. If I want to do with the computer, then it's fine. But the question arises here, how we are going to just say your thoughts to the computer. Okay, so as I said, if I have a problem, I'll first try to define that problem. I'll generate a set of solution to solve the problem. I'll pick the best out of one. Okay, so I'm not going to, if I have n number of solutions, I'm not going to execute those solutions. I'm going to pick the best one out of that. Okay, so okay, if my colleague or the guy who is working in this in my company or somewhere, I can just translate him in a sort of any languages. Say I can just, if he is my local area, I can just use my local languages to just convey those my ideas to him to implement. If he is somewhere from other region, I can just use some universal language to just communicate. But here I'm going to communicate, or I'm going to transfer my idea to a computer to execute. Basically, if you see, the computer can understand a language like a binary code, which comprises of zeros and ones. So something like whatever I want to convey the computer, that should be in computer's native language, which is comprises of zeros and ones. The zeros and ones are nothing but we can just compare it to a toggle switch. If it is 1, it is on, and it is 0 means it is off. Right? So how I'm going to convey this? Okay, so I'll just start. First, I'll be done with my pre-processing, right? So I'll just define the problem. I'll just generate the solution. I'll pick the best out on one after it. I'm ready with that. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to create a source code. What is meant by source code? A source code is nothing but human readable code. It is very easy for a human to develop and to read. It should be in the form of humans native language. Something like I'm comfortable in English, so it should be something like the humans readable language. It should be something like in the form of English rather than the computer's language, which human cannot read, right? So I create a source code. Okay, so I'll create a source code in a platform called a software. What that software does is, whatever I create a source code, it converts into a binary code which a computer can execute, right? So the thing, at last the work is done. So the thing here is Python or any other programming tool. Okay, so what I'm going to do, whatever I have the ideology, I'm going to write or develop as a source code. I'm just going to use a software. I'm just going to convert into the computer native language and just going to feed the computer to execute my idea. Okay, so coming to the point of what is mean by program. Program is nothing but a set of instruction. Suppose if I want my robot to prepare a coffee for me, so what will be my set of instructions here? Okay, so my set of instruction is go to the cooking area. That is my first instruction. Take a bowl or a cup. That is my second instruction. Take a milk, considerable amount of milk. That is my third. And take a decoction or a coffee powder. That is my fourth instruction. Mix it well. That is my fifth instruction. And serve it to the persons. That is my sixth instruction, right? So I have a set of instruction to how to overcome that problem. That is called a program. So the term program is related to programming is nothing but I have a set of instruction, right? I am going to write it down so that the computer can understand that and able to execute that. So I'm just saying, right? I have six tasks or six instruction. I just want to convey that computer to that. Suppose I am there, being an Indian, I am here. If some African is coming, if I just speak in some native language like Tamil, Hindi, or something like that, he won't understand that. So what I should do? I should convey that to him using the language that he knows, right? So the same thing, programming is nothing but we are going to convey the set of instruction so that the computer can understand and be able to execute, right? So the next thing is we should be a good techie or a computer specialist to write a program. Do we? If it is so, it is absolutely not. First, I'll clear the thing. A computer science is not at all involved in any programming. Okay, to be very honest, computer science deals with how a computer works or how a computer can execute things. That's it. That's it. The computer science part is done. But the programming is nothing but you're going to instruct that computer, you're going to convey your idea. So it is nowhere connected. You don't want to say it's a programming or you want to develop a program. It's up to a computer science department or to an IT sector. So programming will be arising is nothing but it's we are going to give an instruction to. It is like a language, right? So if you are going to be a data scientist or if you are going to be an bank officer, you need to know some language, right? At least an English or some native language you are going to work, right? So that you can convey. The same thing, programming is nothing but you are going, if you are going to work with the computer, you want to convey the message or your ideology to the computer, then you want to know your programming. It is a important thing, right? Everywhere computer exists, right? So if it is a small shop or a big IT or a big MNC, everywhere, right? So coming to the point, how many such software or platform is there to develop a program, right? So if we just say we have literally more than 1,000 softwares or a platform we have to develop things. But if we ask, is all or same or is any difference in that? I can just say you one thing. We can do any set of things on any platform, but it's the matter of comfortability. So if you consider, I'll just take something a few out of here. I'll take Python or PHP and C++. Okay, so the data scientists or the finance department people most comfortably they can use Python and they because it has a dedicated library or a real world application, built-in application, so that they don't want to build that from their scratch, so that it has an assistive tool to perform their action. So it will be convenient for them to choose Python or R rather than going to a PHP or a C++. The same way, PHP is mostly everyone knows PHP is widely used for web programming. If you are doing a creating a site or a software, online software, anything PHP is used. The same way C++, if you are taking any mobile applications or any OS for your OS for your mobile devices, everything is built comfortably in C++. It's not like I can't build in Python or PHP. There I should give an extra effort to develop the basic things, but here I have a predictive models, right? So it's used like that. Okay, so the next thing arises is a good programmer can access any other languages. The things are like Suppose like I am a good programmer. Can I be good at everything? The thing is like you may or you may not. But if you want to be a specialist, you should be concentrating on a certain thing. Suppose if you are going for a data science, or if you are going to work on a something like a finance industry, or something like a data related sector, you must be concentrating on Python and R rather than any other languages, because that you need an extra effort, but this have a dedicated thing for your domain, right? So I prefer to have a set of things if you want to enter a particular domain. Okay, this is all fine. The next question is, how does somebody become a good at programming? If I want to be a good chef, I should be experienced in doing multiple dishes in my kitchen, right? So what is all the best or good skills to be at a good programmer? Okay, the first thing is all about us a problem solving skill. You should have a mental ability, like if you face a problem or if a problem is being given to you, you should have a problem solving skill. For example, if I say something like if your boss gives you a problem or to create a program, you should find n number of ways to solve that, because if in that n number of ways you can pick the best one out of it, right? So if you have a variety, you can just say you can take the best one out of it. So you should have a problem solving skill. So with that problem solving skills, what you'll be doing is you'll be writing the computational step. As I said, right? Take a cup, take milk, take a powder, mix it. I'll just say, right? Those are now a computational step. I'll be writing those. Okay, I'll just give you a small example so that you get a clear idea about it. Okay, so consider my boss here is giving me to develop a program, something like he is going to give me a number and the output should be a 10 addition to that. Okay, so what I'll think, how can I do? So the basic problem is first I should understand what is the basic problem. Okay, so what is the basic thing? Input I should get a number, output I should get x plus 10. Okay, this is the way, this is simple. So I'm going to get an input, I'm going to add 10 and I'm going to give output. That's it. Simple and clean. I don't want to miss many things, right? So this is the way you should have a better thinking ability, right? So the second thing is you should be a mechanistic thinking. Okay, so mechanistic, the word mechanistic is nothing but you should be well aware what you are doing. Suppose the thing is like I just said you example, right? Take a bowl, pour a milk, give a powder, right? So the same thing, if you just planned everything, every instruction, but in somewhere you just mentioned the instruction to pour milk before taking the cup. So what will happen? If you feed that same code to the computer, will it say, oh sir, or you just stop, the milk is going to fall? It will say like that? No. The computer, what it does is, it will execute what you just asked them to do. So you should be clear in what you are going to write. Okay, so you should be in a matter like, okay, this and all, or what I'm going to do in this manner. And you should have a solid knowledge about the syntaxes. This I want, so I am writing this. Suppose if I have misplaced the order, so if I just read a program, so I can able to identify, okay, this is the part I have did this day. So you should have a better knowledge on the syntaxes of that particular programming language. Okay, so here I'm just saying I'm going to call a function called the plus 10, where I'll be getting a variable and storing it as, sorry, I'm getting a number and storing it as a variable x, and what I'm going to return, x plus 10. So I'm just did. So what I got it, I got an applause or I got a reward from my boss. Okay, the two things what we saw is we should have a mechanistic thinking and we should have problem solving techniques, right? The third thing which we'll be seeing is a good style of coding. Everyone who studies or who just well versed in the Python or any programming language, they can run a code or they can develop a code, right? But our code, a good code basically should be clean and responsible. It should have does not it should not be too long unless until it is needed. Okay, so we should, the good style here says we should not have as like here a 9 number of variables or as much big like a 5 to 10 line 10 pages of coding or nothing like that. If we need to just eliminate the unwanted things, we should be writing the code very clean and responsible. We should have the habit of a good style, a clean and responsible template of our coding. Okay, I'll just summarize what is that programming involves. It's just what you are going to get a problem, you will formulate that problem, you will break down into meaningful steps. Means you, as I said, if you want to make a tea, you will just split it, right? You want to take a cup milk, you are going to split like that, right? So you want to break down into meaningful step, and then what all you have you have just got an idea, just going to communicate through programming. That is the main ideology of programming. Coming to the next point of Python, what is meant by Python? Okay, so the majorly two majorly things are very particular. In particular, we want to mention, because why? Because Python is used among all other programming languages. Because before entering to that, I'll just introduce Python is not only restricted to a specific domain, it is being used in multiple domains, whether it may be a finance, starting with the finance. See, if you are using a finance, in a finance sector, if you use a programming language, what else you just expect? Right? Finance, data industry, data science, data analysis, data structuring, econometrics, machine learning, economics, everywhere, starting from this to this, from a data science finance to the last part of machine learning or an artificial intelligence, everywhere Python is being used. Why this is so? So we can classify what is the main advantage of Python rather using in every industry rather than other programming languages. So we can divide that into two things: technical advantages and practical applications. Okay, so the first thing is technical application. The technical application, we have a number of things. In that, I just listed out three things, which is open source, general purpose, high level language. Okay, the first thing is open source. A Python is a platform or a software to develop your program at no cost. You don't want to pay anyone to use that. You don't want to pay anyone purchasing that. You don't want to pay anything like if you want to do this, you want to pay this. If you want to download this software, you want to pay this. No, don't want to pay anywhere for using Python. Not only this, Python being a widely used tool in a form of programming languages, I can just use in any platform, whether it may my system is in Windows or Mac OS or a Linux, anything I can use. Suppose I am developing my script in Windows and my client is using a Mac OS. Some the rather other languages need a modification. They need a heavy or full structured modification, or at least they need a little. But here I can just transfer to him and he can use that code or whichever I have developed without any point of difficulty, right? So this is the main advantage. Not only this, the personal usage or the programmers use, many big software like MATLAB, SAS are using Python at their backend. Something like if you are going to use analysis part in MATLAB, it's run fully based on Python software. Okay, so this is all about the open source. It's all free. Okay, so the second thing is it is the general purpose. It, as I said, it's not limited to a particular domain. It is widely used in all domain across the world, starting from finance, data, or if you are going for analysis part, they'll be using. So here web development, web programming, website development, or online software development, anything. Okay, not only this, what and all you develop a program in a Python, it can be interoperable with other languages like C, Java, R, and many more. Okay, something like I'm developing a code for a my mobile application. Something like I want to insert this program into that C script, means I can just import that directly rather than changing the syntax or something like that. Easy, right? So this is all about the general purpose. So moving on to the high level language. Okay. So as I said, the computers will be working on binaries, right? Ones and zeros. So those are called low level language. So high level languages are nothing but human readable. The human should be easily can read and he can develop the things, not ones and zeros. Okay. So how we are going to achieve high level language to a low level language machines? So we are going to develop a code using Python. We are going to get an interpreter which will be available in the Python software. Interpreter will just convert that into binary codes so that those will be read by the computers and can easily executable, but it takes time. So here we have the time factor. Time means it's not a thing like it will take a day, a month, a year. It takes microseconds or a milliseconds, right? So if we have some 1,000 or 10,000 lines of code, it will do in a 0.000005 seconds. It's just a matter of micro or milliseconds. Okay, so if I don't even want to waste that time, that minute time too, then my only possibility is to study the binary code. Is it possible? Okay, I'm studying in my binary code. It is possible to code or develop my language everything in binary code? It is highly impossible. That's why we have the easier to learn and implementable high level languages. Okay, so moving on to that, let me summarize what is the technical advantages. Moving to the practical application, I'm just giving you the overall idea of technical advantages. So it is free, not only free, it will be constantly updated based upon the things. Constantly the Python programming will be Python software will be updated. So it is not limited to a single domain, something like it will be used for this industry or that industry. It have multiple domains and it will be easy for you to develop complex quantitative computations. Okay, so moving on to that, I'll just move on to practical application. So Python, I just said Python is widely used by all sectors across the globe, right? So if we move a little deeper, you can just see the banking sectors or the banking sectors or the finance institutes will be widely using this Python software to store, to analyze, to predict their data in order to run their industry. So what automatically does is, here a company have 100 people to do a certain job, to do or to maintain their data or to process their data. They will be having 100 such people to work under them. So what Python does is, it will just eradicate those people and it will bring Python developers there. Suppose if I have a work of processing a particular data, the what the Python developer does is, he will write a code for it. Next time, the Python developer need to maintain that code rather than doing that from first. What the rest people will do, they will be doing manually. And if next job come, they will start from scratch and they will be doing. But here they will be doing that. Due to this, all the company prefers Python developers to make their simple more easier. This makes, I just mentioned, all industry need Python, okay, to execute or to develop their industry. And due to this, so that 100 people working in an industry, due to Python, we can just make 10 Python programmer to run the same industry. So this gives a big vacancy for the Python developers and gives more profit for the industries. So we should not forget that we are in an era of big data, right? Everywhere data, any industry if you take, it is a data. A hospital, formatical, or biotechnology, or a chemical industry, anywhere it's purely depend on data. What is my past, what is my future, right? So my past thing is this, I want to don't make one to error, I want to predict my future. That's my thing. Every contest, every industry want to grow, right? So Python, in if you just say like I know a design software means you are restricted to a certain industry. If that industry just go down, your employability or your pay scale will obviously go down, right? But Python is adopted by each and every company across the globe, so that where if some domain got decreased due to some reason, you will at the other end, the other company will reach higher end, so that you will be always in a position of getting more profitable scale and more chance of employability. Python gives you that flexibility. Okay, so moving to that and just coming to the final words. So Python is something very easy to learn, and it we have don't have any complex things. It have very clear and intuitive syntax. You are going to do this, so this is the syntax, that's it. And most probably it is friendly, and most handedly it is very powerful tool compared to other programming language, right? Now coming to the point, okay, I just understand programming, everything is fine, I'm clear about it, but the thing is I am new to programming, or else I'm confused where to start, or else I'm just getting the question, is Python hard to learn? If you have n number of questions like this, you just throw that off, right? So we are starting a complete Python course for data science. If you are starting a data science industrial point of Python, so you are at the right place. So we are going to start from very basic scratch to the expert, the mastery level. Okay, so we'll be starting from how to install your Python in your machine to the master level of how to create a program, how to analysis, everything will be reading. So how we'll be doing that is we'll be having a theory class. Okay, I just will just set up a theory class for you, and then we'll just teach you what and all the syntax, everything from bottom to the top, and then we'll have a practical lab. Obviously what and all we learn, we should know how to implement it, right? So we have practical lab session, and we have a job assistant too. Okay, so these will be covered in the 5 hours, and the most important thing of all is you are going to study everything for free of course, right? So what the theory class, the practical and the job lessons, everything is of free. You are going to pay only for your international standard organization certificate, which you will be getting upon the completion of the entire 5 years program. Okay, this course is limited seats, has limited seats. If you want to start your career in Python, you jump to the description and you will have the link to register for the course. You just register and start your career in Python. Thank you.